microphone's not turned on. But now you can hear me because my microphone's turned on. There we go. Fantastic. It has been a lot of people in today. Okay, it has been a lot. It has been a lot today. So, anyways, everyone, welcome to. Hold on, the camera's just a little crooked there. Okay. Welcome to another edition of My Dojo, where you are helping me revive the art of conversation. And I've already sent the link out. I'm waiting on my special guest because he went to the same event that I did today. Um, anyways, before we get to that, let's do a quick roll call, real quick here. Oh, pretty dogs. Um, where is Pilled over here? Okay, so we have all the way up here at the top. We have Zombie Five coming in. Mr. T, Rolla's mom. How you doing, Kristen? Welcome in, G Dog. And the Bush is in the house. Crazy Chuck with a capital K, and there's somebody else. Unfucked Patriot. How you doing? Welcome in. Yeah, I got your message earlier, and I hope I just responded to it. Um, for those of you who don't know, welcome in. By the way, I'm your host, Warrior in the Garden, aka Justin, or vice versa, however you want to put it. And when we have our special guest, I haven't heard from him. Let me reach out to him real quick. Are you okay? Ask me if you okay. Because we contacted each other this morning, and he was just before he was getting ready to leave and head out to the rally, and so hopefully nothing happened in St. Louis. I hope not. Um, but before we get into the topic at hand, uh, Pete from PTP podcast, he passed away last night. So um, send your prayers, positive vibes, all that kind of stuff to his wife April, and he's got a few kids. So sad day, but I know he was not completely unscathed. You, same, same. Um, I'm live. There we go. Um, had bad buffer. What is going on here? Why? Oh, see here. That's why it's not. There we go. That's what's doing. Bad buffering on my side. Anyone else? I haven't seen that. Did you lower your video setting to low? Because it does that automatic thing right away, and sometimes that causes a lot of buffering over on Pilled. But anyways, Pete passed. He was dealing with a second round of cancer in his life, and this one was just a little too much. And he had a very very rare cancer. Luckily, um, uh, luckily, April. This is funny, but not funny at the same time. She's a huge fan of Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but she actually was in when they were with an oncologist. She diagnosed basically Pete, and right in front of the doctor, and she knew all the language because she had watched that show many many times in a row, or multiple times, not in a row, but multiple times, and I guess it just stuck. So uh, she um, she got to keep him for a little bit longer, essentially, but ultimately it was his time to go. And so when it's your ticket, you know, there's not much fighting you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So you just accept it, and hopefully the time that you spent was a positive and a positive influence on people around you, which for Pete, for me, it was. He for years, him and I would go back and forth on various topics, and on his show, that's a great question. And he was a pivotal moment. He was a pivotal person in my life, my podcasting career, that helped me, uh, I guess, kind of bust out of my shell in a way, kind of lay some found work. Those 55 2 hour and a half, 2 hour to 3 hour presentations that I did for you guys week after week after week. Link me, and I will join you in a few minutes. And your DMs. Your DM. Okay. Um, yeah, definitely for sure in the bush. But yeah, and he was very, a pivotal person in my life when it came to the podcasting career, because he'd always challenge me, and we never had any, there wasn't any ill will toward each other the entire time, even if we completely disagreed on a topic. We came back next week, still friends. New topic to talk about, new things to talk about. So, but for me, he I hope for everybody else too. It helps you to he helps you how to think. He didn't tell you what to think. He taught you how to think. He taught you how to ask questions, how to ask a deeper question, a harder question, to keep going for the next question, trying to find the answer for the next question. That was kind of the whole point of that's a great question, is that we would go down these rabbit holes, we don't go down these avenues of conversation, and sometimes it would take us to places that we didn't even know that it could lead us to. Before we know it, an hour and a half would roll by, and the show would be over. So uh, it was good to have him while we did, and I hope he influenced a lot of people in a positive way, and I think he did. I think he did. So, and see, Zombie 5, he was a huge positive in my life in 2017. Ain't been the same since, man. Could he call the bullshit? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And he, he helped me um, with that too, being able to ask the proper question, because sometimes I wasn't asking the right question, and if you have to ask the right question, it puts you in exactly where you need to be. So, timing, as he was here in my life when he was supposed to be, and I appreciate that. So I'm not gonna like revitalize any of his shows. Okay, that's a great question. That's gonna go with Pete. Okay, but I am gonna be going back on his page and downloading as much as I can of the shows that I did, so I don't lose them. So I hope the Mats are listening. Do not delete his profile. Do not delete his channel yet. Please do not. I'm gonna see how much information I can get off of that, because there's some of those presentations I did. They need to be revamped. I went from, for example, I did mountains or just petrified trees. I did that presentation, and it started out being around 65 slides for the original presentation, and then I did a 2.0, and it went to 147 slides. So, you know, as you progress in your knowledge and your understanding, asking the right questions, they also will lead you to more information on the topic you thought you had pat down pretty good. So again, those 55 episodes. I'm gonna have to go through 55 of those episodes, and probably redo all of them. I might actually do that. Just a memory of Pete. But I'm not gonna take a show title or a show name. But I will be going live on Tuesday nights about the same time, about 7:30 at night. 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, and then be 5:30 on the West Coast. And I'll be, doing my exit the cave at that time. So the time slot well, I'll fill that time slot where his void is. So, but beyond that, so like if you guys see anybody making a memorial of Pete, it's not what he would want. He would not want a memorial of him. He would want people to appreciate. Hold on, I'm hearing a tick. Oh, okay. There's a bird right outside my window. Jeez. Okay, I thought my brand new microphone was going on me. He wouldn't want that. He would want you to keep pursuing the truth. He'd want you to keep asking the questions for yourselves, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep doing what we're doing, and because I think he'd approve of it. I think he would. So, but anyways, yeah. So, like I said, I'm just gonna fill the time slot. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm going to keep his memory alive by just doing my thing and continuously asking my own questions and whatnot. Excuse me. And trying to do the same thing and I think I kind of have, to be honest, by starting Exit the Cave. And hold on, Jerry, just a second here. I'm almost on my monologue. And by having shows like this, I do. It's okay to ask the questions. It's okay to play the what if game, that thought exercise, and to question what you think you believe. You know, that's okay to do. That's okay. You're not questioning your creator by doing that. You're not questioning, double stepping yourself. It's just it's a humble way of calling yourself without being really really hard on yourself. That makes sense. I don't know. So, but anyways, yep. He wanted you to stay in the fight and keep questioning everything. Exactly. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm gonna stay podcasting and doing my thing as long as I can, as long as I'm able to. But anyways, all right. We are going to shift gears. Thank you guys for letting me. I was a little sad there, but did you hear, Jerry? Did you hear that Pete passed away?
No,
PTP
I did
podcast.
not.
Yeah, he passed away last night.
Oh man.
Yeah, he had a second bout of really really nasty cancer, really very very rare,
Oh
and
no.
it just took him. And, he couldn't fight anymore. So
Damn, I'm sorry to hear that. One
well,
second.
it happens.
Oh no. Hang on. Let me get that out of the way. Sorry. I hang on. I still had my mobile studio set up over here, and the laptop screen was blocking her view of the screen.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, can you see okay now? Leave it on. All right, cool. You're welcome.
Alrighty,
I
shifting gears.
appreciate being able to be mobile
Oh yeah, yeah.
on so many levels.
Yeah. It really is. You'd be surprised what we can get done with a tablet and a microphone and a USB microphone.
Right.
So, but anyways, shifting gears, guys. Shifting gears here to a different topic. First of all, welcome, GI Wignon. I appreciate your time. How you doing?
I am doing great. I had a blast today. How about you?
Oh, I had a good time too. So what we're talking about here is uh, Jerry. He lives in the St. Louis area. No surprise, and he went to one of the No Kings rally, and I think there were several in the St. Louis area. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was a dozen of them.
A dozen.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of it has to do with the fact that like folks in South County kind of want to stick in their neighborhood, West County, North County.
that's
Some
yeah. That's
folks
what I was going
don't.
to ask you if it was
Some
like
folks aren't.
like a
Some folks aren't
township, like
as
a precinct or a township.
kinda
You know.
kinda the way St. Louis grew up is it was a bunch of small communities that were culturally founded.
Hmm.
So like the area that's known as the Hill was founded by Italians originally. And so the joke this last winter when it snowed, they went out there with a skewer of ravioli to
Oh
measure
shit.
the depth of the snow.
How many ravioli deep?
12.
12 ravioli. That's funny.
But there's
Um,
also a Polish community over on the south side, so
yeah, there's
there's some
it's a huge Polish community
there
on the south side.
there's enough economic disparity in this town that some
Hmm.
people aren't able to travel, but they still want their voice heard, so they do it in their neighborhood.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of what I figured because, to get across St. Louis, that's a 45-minute drive
Yeah,
at least,
easy.
and that's with no traffic. if
Right.
if you have traffic, it's going to be a little bit longer. But that's great that there was. I mean, here in Columbia, we had Columbia. There was not Macon, but Moberly had one. Jeff City had one. Boonville had one. I don't know if Kingdom City had one. That'd be kind of ironic if they did.
It would be.
Right? Kingdom City, right? As no Kings rally.
But
But
I think it's possible that they would have had one there because I got a friend that goes to church in that neighborhood or did.
cool, cool.
I'm getting some acreage set up here on my screen. Because you were saying something when I was sitting in the wings there. You were saying something about um, being able to change your mind.
Right. We have.
Reserving the right to change your mind. Well, there was a group there at the No Kings at Aloe Plaza.
Mhm.
It's the St. Louis Singing Resistance, and I only caught about 13 minutes of it, but they got about a 2-minute clip that I would love to share with you because it's perfectly appropriate.
Sure, go right ahead.
It's okay to change your mind.
Yeah, go ahead. And if you want to share, you got it loaded.
Let's
Go
see
right
if
ahead
I
whenever
can
you're ready.
remember. Yeah, screen share and that, and there we go.
Lights in your mouth. It's okay. This one is called Lights in your mouth. It's okay to change your mind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind. No more courage. Leave us behind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind. And you can join us here anytime. Oh, it's okay to change your mind. Show us your courage. Leave us behind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind. And you can join us here anytime. Oh, it's okay to.
You get the idea of it. And I
Yeah.
asked some, everybody's showing their protest signs, and I'm walking around with my camera and stuff. So after the march takes off, I stuck around the plaza and I chit chatted with some folks. And I've got this binder. It's got the Leaving MAGA logo on one side, and then it's got the Task Force Butler flyer on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And the Task Force Butler folder has the legal definition of gangs. It's got all the legal sightings for peaceful gatherings and such. So it's like my safety manual, right?
Gotcha.
But I showed the Leaving MAGA thing, and somebody looked at me and they're like, "You were MAGA?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was MAGA." And they're like, "Oh, I am so glad you're here."
Yeah, yeah. It's we got there early. We got there about 20 minutes before the event started, and there were maybe about 100 people there, I think. And then by the end of it, there was several hundred people at the event. The courthouse, where those little stands are, the little stairs, they're cut
Yeah,
into every single one of them was full. Everybody was elbow to elbow in that on those chairs. And then there was standing room only pretty much everywhere else. And there was only a pathway that you can kind of walk around, because that's what I was doing. I had my tablet out and I was going around listening to people. I saw a few people I knew from the dog park, and one from Best Softball, and we chatted up a little bit. I had a few conversations with some veterans, and we realized, Vietnam veteran too.
yeah,
He said we were lied to. I said every
mhm,
single war we've been into, we've been lied to
yeah.
every single time.
I,
And he looked at me and he almost started tearing up. He's like, "You get it." I said there was no reason for us to go to Iraq in the early 2000s. That's when I went. I said that's a different type of Vietnam. That was a
right,
that was a huge quagmire from the start.
right. Got to get my chair adjusted. There we go. Yeah, I ran into quite a few veterans, and it was rather interesting. I was again, I was just like a one of a kind in whichever category I was in, no matter who I met. But there was let me see if I can.
I never there. I was looking for the opposition. I guess the opposition to the rally. I was
Yeah,
looking for people who were still MAGA, still pro Trump, still pro the administration, because I wanted to go back and forth. But I only found one person at the rally, and she she had a bit of crazy in her eye. I mean, I tried to see what she was talking about and everything else, and I'm like, okay, but it was just really incoherent at what she was trying to passionately get across. But she was a bit of a nuisance to begin with in the crowd. She was going in and out of people real quick for whatever reason. I think she was kind of bumping into people. She did get apprehended by the police, but she didn't get arrested though, because what do you? She's not. The worst she did was tore someone's sign down. She tore a sign
oh
in half.
man,
That was the worst she did. But
that's still uncalled for.
yeah, it is, especially when you get there and you just read the room. No one
Right.
was there. If you all the signs that I was showing people signs, and the creativity of the artistic flair of certain signs, whatever the message really. And there was I don't know about where you were at, but at least in Colombia, there was a very consistent message of the group not liking pedophiles,
Yes.
the group not being not liked being lied to, the
Not being
group,
like not like being lied to. One of the
yeah,
more
and no
common
war, and no war.
turn Yeah, no war and turn the files into trials. The general
Yep.
consensus
Yep.
is we don't care who's in those files.
Right. Right.
Hold
It
them
just so
accountable.
right. It just
Party doesn't matter.
it
Now,
doesn't.
I'd
Right.
like to
And
show you a picture of the
sure.
march as it rolled out
Yeah.
of Aloe Park.
And that was said too a few times is that it doesn't matter if it's R or D's in front of the name. A criminal's a criminal. A pedophile is a fucking pedophile.
Right.
And so yeah,
That's
yeah. This was these are turning out to be the largest rallies the United States has ever seen. Ever. Even bigger than the civil rights. I mean, it's huge.
this is just one of 12 in the city.
Can I make an observation?
Yes.
So my observation was that people were more serious this time. Like we've got to get this guy out. The previous one that we went to was more like a party. You know, it really was. Lots of inflatables, but this time I felt like the people are serious now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We had I don't know about you guys, but we had speakers down at
Mhm.
the amphitheater area,
Yeah.
and from what I could hear when I was close enough, it seemed to be the same way. Like it's a criminal. What's going on? Uh, this Epstein stuff needs to be taken care of. This is a huge stain on America. They just happen to vote differently. People, when I'm an independent. I don't like either party. But
Right.
the thing is I didn't feel as though like there was this like the blue hair animosity. Yeah, blah. There was a communist table there. There was
Yeah.
a trans right table there. There was the Sierra Club was there. There was a local environmental group there.
Yeah.
And there was a few older ladies. And they had signs that said Jews for Palestine. So I mean, there was a lot of different people. There was kids there, dogs there. I showed somebody brought their Irish wolfhounds, which is like,
Nice.
oh my god, those are huge dogs, beautiful looking animals. But I mean, I'm just like, I don't want to have to feed a 200-pound animal. That's I might as well buy a horse. But that's like feeding 100 chickens a day, every day. But yeah, no, it was let's see here. Country girl goes, if you don't, yeah, I made that sticker, right? If you don't think people are under mind control, just look at how they treat anyone who thinks freely and questions the official narrative. Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah. Irish, they are beautiful animals. Just walking majestic animals. They're just huge animals, but very kind eyes in those dogs. Very, very kind eyes. But yeah, my general consensus when I walked around that plaza area several times, and it filled up very, very quickly. And I was really, really impressed at how peaceful everyone was.
Yeah.
I didn't, a lot of creative signs, people just kind of hanging out, not, but there are, there, like you said, when you can, I can hear conversations, but not necessarily my tablet was able to pick up on the conversations that people were having. And it was a very unifying, we're being lied to about this. Like, why are we going to war? What is this about? I saw a lot of veterans there today, a lot of older veterans. Unfortunately, I didn't see a lot of young ones. Because I asked the girl,
I met a couple of young ones.
did you? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Maybe there were in the crowd, but I just didn't. I didn't. A lot of guys were Vietnam era, sort of, and
There was a kid I met that was in Iraqi freedom,
oh, really?
and he went because he thought he was doing the right thing, and then he got there and realized, oh shit, this is all fucked up. Now looking back on it, he realizes how fucked up it was.
Oh, dude, oh, I have had to come to terms that I was part of an invading force into a foreign nation for no reason at all.
Right.
No reason at all. And we have to atone that the fact that we killed over 1 million Iraqi citizens. Even though that I didn't pull the trigger on them, even though I didn't push a button to drop a bomb on them, doesn't matter. I was still part of the force. I still believed the lie.
Right.
So I still volunteered for it. I still wanted to go. And looking back at it now, halfway through there, we're driving from Cedar 1 to Cedar 2. So these are two little fobs. All right, this is, I'm sorry, a little side jump, but here, a little side excursion. A little side excursion, if you will. Um, but this is for real because I actually did serve my country, and unlike anyone in his family or him.
Right.
But anyways, I digress. So I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. Never mind. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, Cedar 1, Cedar 2. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Cedar 1, Cedar 2. There is, and it's right as you get past the Bosnian Bridge. It's right before. Sorry, the Cedar 2 is a fob right before Bosnian Bridge. Cedar 1 is a little better built out fob area. They have a small PX there, a couple little restaurants, so it's a little more built out. Still a fucking shithole, but it was said that if you go, Allah does not go north of the Bosnian Bridge. The reason why they call it the Bosnian Bridge is because the Bosnian army, they took that bridge and they manned it. So that was one of our allies, the Bosnians. That was their territory, and they had a tight ship and a lot of dead dogs around. So that's unfortunate. But the main story is that there was a farm when we were leaving Cedar 2 to go to leave out to go to the main road, to go over the bridge to go to Cedar 2, and like I had seen homeless people before, but I hadn't seen starving people before. And I just happened to be the gunner that time, and we leave post and they give us 20 flats, 24 giant muffins, flats of food. I mean, all kinds of shit. It just gets wasted. And I was like, what the fuck are we doing with all this food? We're not going to eat all this, guys. And I said, so I was truck commander. I was TC. I'm like, I'm throwing our muffins overboard, guys. And I said, throw them up, give it to me. And so, because I'm seeing these kids, these two little kids, a mother and I think a father, maybe a brother, I don't know. They're running from this shack across their field with their hands out and pleading for some food, pleading for something. And in the past, I'd seen soldiers like rear back and just throw a fucking muffin right in this kid's faces. And I'm like, no. So I take all the food. I said I don't care. Well, I'll sign for more MREs. We dump all our MREs. We dump all of our fucking food. We dump like 3 boxes of MREs. Those are 12 in a pack, 12 in a box. Yeah. And then like 3 flats of muffins, a blueberry, banana, and I think chocolate. And it just said, here you go. And the lady who started crying, like everybody started crying. I'm like, what the fuck, man? What the hell are we doing here? This isn't
a little bit of mercy, a little bit of grace goes so
yeah.
much,
Like, what are we doing here? I got my ass chewed for it, but I don't give a shit. I told him, my commander, I got back to Camp Eric John. I got my ass chewed for it because I went up in a report, and I said, sir, I said, you weren't there. I said, you didn't have to look in these people's eyes and see them starving. I said, we've already killed hundreds of thousands of their people. We've cut off supply lines. They barely have electricity, food, running water, anything like that. So the least I could do was give them, a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what we fucking waste on a daily basis here. Right. And he's like, all right, Sergeant Stroman, I'm just going to have to give you a counseling statement instead. I said, all right, I'll sign that counseling statement. That's fine. Because he wanted to give me Article 15 for giving away government property.
Yeah.
I softly and respectfully told him to go fuck himself.
With all due respect to your rank and position, sir.
Yeah. Suck my balls and lick my butthole. Right. But anyways, anywho, yeah, back to the back to the. But did you get any stickers?
That little protection statement that they taught us in tech school. With all due respect to your position and or rank, ma'am or sir.
Ma'am and or sir. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a proper way to tell your command no, and there is an improper way. The art of proper bullshit is what I learned very, very quickly.
I was an E2 and I put a full major, put a major in his place because he called me up railing on me because his parts weren't there yet. And I'm like, Sir, with all due respect to your rank and position, I'm not going to tell you how to do your engineering job, so please don't tell me how to do mine.
Yeah,
He
right.
called my supervisor. My supervisor called me into his office. It was a civilian and military office, and Mr. Sanchez calls me over into his office. I thought for sure I was about to get my butt chewed, and he gave me a big old attaboy because it made him look good. You got an airman that knows how to handle his business.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you'll have that command that goes to bat for you, and sometimes you'll have command that's a bunch of ass kissers.
Yeah,
Um, but did you get any swag while you were there? Like any stickers?
I did not.
Okay,
I
because
did not. But
I had a
we did pick up. Amy did pick up a sign that somebody dropped on their way out,
Oh, really?
and it was favoring supporting the troops.
Okay. Oh, I
But
wonder.
yeah, there a lot of what was there was like, well, I don't know. Amy, you picked up a newspaper, didn't you?
I know.
No, you didn't grab a newspaper. Yeah, the Communist
No, they
Party.
wanted $5.
Oh,
They
they
gave them away free at Tower Grove.
yeah. I was gonna say that's what. Or no, yeah, was it free?
It was free at Tower Grove Park.
Yeah. Anyway,
Maybe the
I would say a communist charging
it's
for a newspaper. Come on. Wah wah.
yeah, it's there's a lot of paradoxes in life.
Well, they're and some of them are funny for a reason. You know,
Yeah,
we can laugh at those. So you didn't get any swag. I did. I got this sticker here. I'll show you guys.
pedophile protectors, right
Pedophile
on.
protectors, and that's the elephant for the GOP.
Right.
This sticker is also posted at the dog park, and then so is this one in several places. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Hold on. Oh my gosh.
It doesn't want to pick up the yellow.
No, it
It's too
doesn't. It's
close to the
too much
green.
green. Too much green. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There
there
we
we
go.
go. Yeah, release the Epstein files. Do not
Look,
collect
do not collect terrorists. Do
terrorists.
not start a war.
I love it.
So, and then I got maybe you've heard of this. He was on my podcast earlier today, so I got a card from Jeff Stack from the Fellowship of Reconciliation.
Oh, right
He's a
on.
public educator, a lobbyist. Um, he saw me walk around and he kind of followed me a little bit and tapped me on the shoulder and asked, what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm just trying to get people's opinion. So,
We were on our way back to the car, and this guy stopped to get photographs of us because I had a Superman costume on. Except I don't have the traditional red Superman cape.
yeah.
It's the inclusion pride flag,
All
and
right.
she was dressed as Wonder Woman, and we had a
Nice.
lot of compliments. We got a lot of compliments. A lot of people took our pictures, but he took our picture, and then we got to talking. And come to find out, he used to be a history teacher,
Oh, excellent.
and we got to talking a little bit. I'm gonna reach out to him by email and see if we can't sit down and talk some history.
Cool. Cool.
Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, I got to do a little networking today. I'm hoping that something comes of it in the future.
Yeah, I wanted to put my face out there today. I didn't have any business cards. I need to create some business cards for myself because Mr. Jeff over here, he asked me if I had a business card. I'm like, no, I don't. I should
I
I should have
I
one
need to
with
get
a LinkedIn tree or something in there. So
I need to get new cards made and get the Leaving MAGA logo put on there.
hmm
But I found out that there's something really cool. Amy got some new business cards made up when she became minister of music over there at the church, and there's a QR code on it.
yeah,
So
you can put a QR on the card on the back.
so I talked to Rich over at Leaving MAGA, the founder, Rich Logus, and he gave me clearance to put the Leaving MAGA logo and QR code on the back of my business card,
Cool.
along with my logo and my slogan.
Well, that's awesome.
Religious freedom is no excuse for bad behavior.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a sign today that reminded me of stop pretending that your patriotism isn't racism, or something like
Right.
that. So I can't remember. I'd have to go back and like read exactly what it was, but um, it. I saw people in blow up. One person was in a blow up polar bear suit, and it said the
Nice.
only ice I want is at the poles. Kind of clever, something like that, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there was some people dressed up in clown makeup, and they had clown signs, about our commander and I think it was the clown in chief. I think they said it was, and there was a group of people who also had frog suits on,
Yeah, I
like
saw the
the
picture of the
blow
four
up
frogs
frogs.
hanging out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And so at first I approached them, and they didn't want to say anything. And then I said, okay, that's fine, and I stepped away. And um, they're like, we don't know what to say or whatever. I said you can say whatever you want on my podcast. I'm 100%. I'm 100% supporter of free speech. I said I don't care what it is. This is the people's opinion, not my opinion. Okay, I've
right.
got other shows for that, but and she's like, oh, okay, well, we're frogs against fascism. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm against fascists too. All right, you guys are frogs. I get it. It's a kind of a stab at the Q people. I get it for Keck and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, no, I that was overall. I thought it was a beautiful day, absolutely beautiful
Yeah.
day. But I've reached my people limit for sure for my people quota for a while. I was
I
a
got
couple ones.
church.
Well, yeah, you got church though, but me,
I'll
I'm
be
like,
doing the
no,
church thing tomorrow, and then I'm good for a few days.
yeah, yeah, no,
And church is a limited window tomorrow.
right, and it's there's it's not like it's a little bit different than a crowd of people,
Right.
and it's a soothing essence
Oh,
supposed to be, as opposed to we don't know what's gonna go on, so
so we've been, because of the fact that we've been networking in St. Louis. Last night we went to a fish fry,
hmm
and on our way in, Amy noticed these two Franciscan monks that were walking out, and she's like, "Oh, oh, don't they look familiar?" And I looked up, and the one that's got the long beard, I'm like, "Yeah, we have met them at the other friar was a different guy than last year, but the one with the beard, we met them at the Rachmaninoff Vespers at the Cathedral Basilica last year.
oh, cool.
So they were on their way out from the fish fry. He's back for more seminary. And then we bumped into a couple of people that we knew from church. And then today, while we were out there at Aloe Plaza, one of the other residents here in town in the apartment building, he and I have talked about black metal. And he
Ah,
spotted us and doubled back and run us down to say hi to us.
that's cool.
So yeah, it
That's cool.
was, yeah,
I always enjoy meeting people you don't expect to see them at something like a No King rally.
yeah.
I saw some ladies from a lady from a dog park. Some of the people I'd seen. One other person I'd recognized because I'd seen them before. I think at the grocery store, Walmart. They probably live on my side of town. Is what it is.
Yeah.
And but then the interviews and seeing some people I actually didn't know and having a little conversation with them. I was really again I think I mentioned this, but I was really surprised that there wasn't outside of one person there wasn't any kind of representation for the current the ones that are in favor of the administration.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't show. They literally didn't show. I was walking around the entire plaza looking for because usually if there's a rally or a protest of some sort like that, there's it's at usually at the courthouse here in Columbia, and on one side of the road is your pros, and then on the other side it's your against, and
Right.
or the pro and con, or if you will. But I didn't see that at all anywhere. I was looking for it. I was really hoping to be able to get to have a conversation with somebody in support of the administration. But on to their and this is kind of funny, but to their defense, there was a gun show today. So
Ah,
there was a gun show in Hallsville, about 10 miles north of town. So
that's where they were then.
that's where they were. They went to a gun show instead.
I uh, I
Bad joke.
saw I saw a protest sign posted yesterday that wins the internet. Flip us off if you voted for a pedophile.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is great. I love it. How you doing, Dark State? Welcome in, buddy. Where is that? Thank you for your donation. Yep. Yes. The issue was the microphone, the old microphone that I'd had. Apparently, something had come loose inside the microphone to where it caused an echo and
Ah,
basically a short. And so
yeah.
instead of trying to figure out, take it apart and try to resolder, which I would know absolutely nothing about, uh, I just said, well, this one's on sale, and it does a variety of things. It's got multi-directional. It does the compensator, and then the other version of it is whatever it is. So it has a little dial right here. I can turn up and
Yeah,
down.
gain
So
control.
gain control, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And so and I can download this app where I can get into the actual settings of the microphone. And so it's it cost me $130, and I was looking for, the reality was, is I was looking for a new microphone anyways,
Yeah.
and this one right here is super easy to travel with. I can fold everything up. I'm actually going to get a stand for this, a portable stand, so that I
Oh,
can
nice.
jack into my. I can plug this into the wall, and then I can connect it to my laptop, and I can, or my not my laptop, my tablet, and that way I can go, if I'm
Oh, right on.
traveling, I can do a show while I'm traveling or whatever. But
I ended up getting a standalone microphone for my laptop so that next time I sit down with somebody to get a reaction on a video, I don't run into the same problem I ran into on the last one I did. I didn't unmute the OBS, so I
ooh,
missed the whole last like 15 minutes of closing conversation, and it was really good. So
oh,
what I ended up doing was I got a standalone mic. It's got a mute button on it, so I can just tap the mic instead of missing the click with the
right,
mouse.
right, yeah. That's one of the reasons why I bought this one too, is because I don't like to. I don't when other people are talking, if I'm congested or whatever, I'm have to breathe through my mouth, and so I'll do that. That's one of the reasons why I bought this microphone, is because I have a visual. There's a visual aid for me to know that if
You're
I'm,
right.
yeah, it's like I need a visual aid. Here we go. All right, how old are you? I'm 45. You still need a visual aid? Yes, I do.
Yes, there's so much other going on up here. I need that extra bit
Yeah,
of help.
exactly. I really do. Just like when I'm cooking, there's the light above the stove. I have that on when the oven's on. I have been known to leave the oven on for a few hours with nothing in it. So, at least the house was warm for a while.
Right.
Cool. But yeah, yeah. No, overall experience today was really good.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, there was nothing there that on a Friday night, if I'm walking downtown, that I wouldn't have seen. I mean, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. There weren't people who were, it was a little bit colder, so they weren't half naked or whatever. They weren't coming and pushing ideas on you. They were very. There was a lot of smiles. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys noticed this or not, but
Genuinely happy people.
yes, there was a lot of organic. I mean, they when I smiled at people, it feel like it was a real genuine smile, not a
Yeah.
forced fake one,
Right.
but an honest. Hey, you're here. That's cool. I don't know what you're doing, but you're here. That's what matters in
Yeah.
some of these people's eyes. And I don't know. I'll go to another one. I'll cover another one. But for me, this was kind of a like an icebreaker for the segment I was doing, was the people's opinion, and I think I got my feet wet enough. I believe so. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie, talking like this is something different. Is different than talking
Yeah.
face to face, actual face
Yeah.
to
It
face
is.
people. There's a
Yes, it is.
there's there's a much more. You have to be much more on your toes. You have to be. You're reading full body language instead of just the face, or the bust, if you will. And I like it. I like interacting with people live. And I had Kevin's Chaotic Coffee. He was in the show. He was in the chat this morning, and so and he apparently he was going. And I guess I need to correct myself. I'm not the only content creator on Pilled who went to a rally. Went to the King rally. So he also did as well, and he gave me props for doing what I was doing, talking with people, just seeing what they're looking for. He asked where like some of the tables were at, and because it sounds like he'd been at several of these before. And I walked over there and I showed him what they were, and he was like, "Oh yeah, there's a commie table right there." And but it was cool. So he doesn't go live; he records and then he uploads. But still,
Right.
okay. So I have to correct myself. I'm not the only person on Build who does it, but I am the only person who goes live and at the
Right.
rallies. So I can claim that.
That you can claim that.
I can make that claim. Yes.
There. I hopefully made a few contacts that may open opportunities for conversations with people in the future on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a couple of ladies that we met there. This one gal that was there, her protest sign was a picture of her two daughters and her son holding up protest signs in front of Trump Tower in New York City, and they were like elementary school age. They just graduated high school. All they've known is protesting authoritarian government their entire lives.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
They just graduated college and they've never known a day of peace.
Well, let's see here. I was born in 1980, and I think every year the United States was in a conflict of some sort. I don't. Maybe.
I
Maybe.
I was born in July of '64, and the United States became officially active and started escalating operations in Vietnam in '65.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
already there.
Yeah. Well.
We
Yeah.
were already there.
The special forces people were already there. They were working with the French Legionnaires. Um, the
But yeah,
So I think both of us. Well, I think both of us have
I'm
seen.
about to turn 62.
Yeah. See. So both of us have
There,
seen. Every
there's
decade has
not
had some kind
been
of conflict.
not one day of without bloodshed
Right.
at American hands in my entire lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. Think of that.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah. Let that sink in, people. Just think about it. For 62 years, there hasn't been at least a decade or every half decade of some type of a conflict or a bloodshed that United States has not been involved with.
Well, and, yeah, and even in between the major stuff that we see on the surface, what about those under the surface operations that the CIA is always doing?
Well, that's what I'm
I
talking
mean,
about.
do you really think that Operation Condor only ran from 75 to 83?
Hell,
Do
it's
you
like
think
Operation. No,
do you think that's the only window of time in American history that Dominion theology has tried to stamp out liberation theology?
no, no, no. We see these things again. Once people are able to see the pattern, understand the proverbial playbook of the deep state, you can, once you start reading through it, and you can start recognizing different operations that have occurred, different events that have occurred, that is smack dab in the play of on page 4 of the deep state. And so these patterns, it's easy to find these patterns when you're not really involved with the politics,
Mhm.
because the propaganda, it really does flood your brain full of mush, and it doesn't allow you ask to ask critical questions, to ask the difficult things.
Right.
You know.
Okay. So I want to bring a case in point for an example.
Sure.
Did you hear about Operation Total Extermination?
No.
Okay. So it was a blip on the radar, so I'm not surprised that you didn't catch it. I barely caught it because one of the content creators I listened to mentioned it. I'm like, whoa, wait, what is this? What are you talking about, Kyle? Because he's passing this on like it's legit information. And it was full of red flags for me. So I went and looked it up. And it's like, okay, there's the article that he's talking about. And they're referencing this guy who wrote an article over here. And he was referencing an article that was published in some backwater outlet in South America. Now, anybody who knows anything about active measures and manufacturing consent understand how intelligence operations will drop some little nugget in a backwater newspaper and then try to get it picked up by one of their agents. So there's that buffer.
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes the stuff catches traction and sometimes it doesn't. This time it didn't. It made a blip on the radar that I caught. And I got this friend of mine that he uses ground news to help him with his media literacy. But I asked him, I said, "What can you find on this story?" And he came back and he's like, "I can only find three references." And I asked him, was one of them a South American newspaper? Because if so, that lines up with what I know. And he didn't, or with what I found.
Hmm.
And he didn't respond. So I explained to him what I just explained to you. And it's just silence. He's blown away. But like you said, once you can see past the veil, once you can get
Right.
through that mist, once you can disconnect yourself, genuinely disconnect yourself from the system and look at history objectively, you know, not just one area. I mean,
Right.
that's part of the reason I was able to deconstruct how I could, you know, studying FBI history, CIA history, Assembly of God history, you know, the evangelical movement from latter rain to the
You're starting
NAR.
to see that entire thing was most like another operation to bring us to where we are now.
Well, if you
Well,
read
I just had a thought.
the Gospel of J. Edgar Hoover by Lerone A. Martin, he shows in there how Billy Graham and J. Edgar Hoover worked together to create Christian nationalism. Right
You know,
now,
I got.
now hold up. I'm getting ready to tear into a couple of speeches. One of them one of the sermons that Billy Graham gave in Chile, Santiago, Chile, in 1962. It is full of nationalistic verbiage because the Assemblies of God Church was running that radio station, that shortwave station out of Quito, Ecuador, HCJB. The Assemblies of God Church was fully tied in with the CIA and the FBI. The Assemblies of God
Jesus.
Church fully supported Operation Condor, parallel to the Moonies. Now,
This
Dr. Hassan says the Moonies weren't involved in Operation Condor, but they were supporting death squads in 11 of the 12 countries that the CIA was running death squads in. So,
okay.
and the CIA and the KCIA are married through the birth of the Moonies. So, I mean,
It makes you wonder if Christian nationalism wasn't more than just a CIA ploy to get us to where we're at now, so that we can prep people to want to go die for the Armageddon.
how about we walk it all the way back to 1934?
What happened in 30?
The office plot.
What happened in 34?
The office plot. The German American Bund held a kangaroo court and convicted Roosevelt
I didn't
and
know about that.
General Smedley Butler, right? United States Marine Corps, Major General, retired. He got all of the most decorated Marine ever, earned all of his awards through the Banana Wars. He wrote a book. He wrote that book, War is a Racket.
Oh, that's why I recognize the name. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I read that.
So the German American Bund sent representatives to meet up with Butler because Butler had all those Marines that were wanting their combat pay. And they were camped out on what's now the National Mall.
Okay,
And they
yeah.
tried to get them to go in and drag Roosevelt out and hang him in the Capitol yard.
That's where I've heard it before.
Butler snitched them out. And then 10 years later, in the Great Sedition Trial of 1944, Gerald Winrod, who was part of the German American Bund, was tried in the Great Sedition Trial, trying to talk U.S. military and not fighting the Germans. But see, Gerald Winrod, he was known as the Jayhawk Nazi and the Kansas Hitler, but he was also the one that scheduled these tent revivals for William Branham.
Oh. Okay. Man,
don't forget, Prescott Bush was a member of the German American Bund.
I
And
did
his
not know
son
that he was
was,
a member of that.
yeah, he was, and his son was the director of CIA during the Tehran hostage crisis.
Yes, I knew
Okay,
that. Yeah.
and which means his time as director of the CIA overlaps with Operation Condor, which is allegedly the denazification of South America. But it was being
Allegedly.
run out of Colonia Dignidad, which was a Nazi colony. So
I
The
mean,
math ain't mathing,
that just
folks.
gives more credence to the German colony in Argentina.
Yeah, exactly. They're all networked, and they were all running the tapes of sermons from William Branham. William Branham was personal friends with Paul Schaefer, the founder of Colonia Dignidad.
That that is just it's crazy how when you start peeling back the layers, and then
Right,
all of these organizations somehow have a tie to the CIA, and
right,
it's like, well, no, the CIA created these things, people. This is what the CIA is not even supposed to be operating on American soil, but what they do is they
right.
operate on foreign soil. Not now, but in the past, what they used to do is they operate on foreign soil, propagating into the United States, and therefore pushing a certain narrative from abroad, or a story from abroad. Therefore, they can claim, hey, we're not doing an operation on American soil, but we are on the American people. It's one of those things where, okay, well, it's like a pause. But yeah, we are propagating the American people like
Hmm.
what we're not supposed to be doing. It's just they run foreign operations in other countries. They run foreign operations against American people in foreign countries. They work with MI6, MI5, Mossad. Even I bet they
The
even work with
FSB.
they even work with Iran. They even work with the China's secret
Well,
service and their
dude,
intelligence agency
dude,
too.
you bring up Iran. Okay, so in 19, there's a little bit of debate as to whether it happened in 52 or 53. I think the general consensus is that the coup in Iran happened in 52 and the new Shah was installed in 53. But that was a CIA operation.
It every every coup we've had in America and in the world, I think, has to have a CIA connection to it.
Mhm.
There 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 isn't a or an MI6 or a Mossad, at least since 19. It would have to be from 53 or 54, that they were able to actually have military intelligence, but due to the help of us, massive help from us into Israel after 1948. But anywho, uh, they that rabbit hole gets it's very deep and very wide very very quickly.
Yes.
But so the rest of your experience at the rallies, how did Amy like it? How'd she like it? Did she have a good time? Did you guys stick together, or did you kind of mosey
I I
around
ended
and
up
kind of
staying
coalesce?
I ended up staying at the plaza and she went for a walk with the march. But you're asking if she enjoyed herself. She's
Yeah,
back here nodding her head. I
good.
know you can't hear the rocks rattling.
I do hear a hamster wheel squeaking though. That's from you. That's coming from you for sure because you're by the microphone. I know who
Yeah.
the brains of the operation is.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
But good. How many in your guys' area? How many people do you think were there?
Oh, good grief. I don't know. What would you say? Maybe 1,000 right there.
Probably.
Maybe 1,500 right there.
Oh,
But that was just one. I
right.
mean,
We're one of a dozen other ones.
Aloe Plaza, the area that was primarily taken up, is like 3/4 of the city block wide, almost a full city block wide,
Hmm.
and like two and a half, almost well, about 2.5 city blocks long.
Is that down by
Well,
City Hall?
huh?
Is that down by City Hall?
No,
The dome?
It's right across the street from Union Station Hotel.
Oh, I know exactly where you're at. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. There should be a Drury Inn a couple blocks from there. I think.
something like that. I'm
Yeah,
not
I think
sure, but
so. Right. Yeah,
it's right across
it's
the
right by
street.
the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, right around the corner from the Ferris
Hmm.
wheel.
Okay.
Maggie O'Brien's is there on the corner.
Yep. I've been there.
They've got a pretty good Reuben
Yes,
sandwich,
they do.
and their ham and
It's a
beans
bomb.
aren't bad either.
Yeah. They're we went there. Oh shoot. There was a game. We were there. We were in St. Louis for a color run. One of the first years that Beth and I were dating, and we ended up staying at the Drury Inn right there across from Union Station, and we went to the aquarium. Did the whole Union Station touristy thing. They were building a soccer field when we were there. I bet that's completed by now. Like a soccer, a league, I guess. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just noticed Hazel Eyes commented about my nails.
Yeah,
Um, so for my 61st birthday last year, Amy went and got me my first mani pedi ever,
really.
and
Good for her.
it was a really enjoyable experience. And I enjoyed. I've always really kind of enjoyed color on my nails, but this has a purpose. You'll notice there's a pattern to the colors.
Yeah, green, green, yellow, orange, green, green.
Yeah, that way I can give them the whole peacock before I give them the bird.
Whoo! I like
I
it.
don't want it. I don't like ambiguous messaging, man.
Not at all. No, no. I like that. It's very clever. Very clever. Cool. Cool. Was there did you notice like an overwhelming police presence there at all, or did you
No,
did you see
in
that?
fact, St. Louis PD provided escort.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, because I did see.
They provided intersection closure
Oh,
for
awesome.
safe
For so
passage.
so people can walk. Okay, that's
Right,
great.
and then the bicycle group showed up. See, that's the thing about living in the city like St. Louis. The only way that you're going to really be happy is if you find your people.
Right.
And so there's this group of individuals who have dedicated their lives to peacefully protesting for democracy, and they ride their bicycles everywhere they go. So whenever you see protesters that are interlinking their bikes to cause barriers,
Mm-hmm.
that's these people. They're providing help for the safeties who are running around in the yellow vests, so you know who to turn to for de-escalation assistance, or they'll have
Ah,
people
okay.
running around that are clearly marked as a medic. It's very well organized. Very
Yeah,
well
yeah.
organized.
There was a lot of people.
5051's got their stuff together.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who were wearing the yellow vests, and who were talking and stuff. And I actually ended up talking with one of them toward the end of the show because I was trying to find the pro administration person, and one of them said, "We're not trying to engage with her," and I'm like, "Well, that's fine, but." She has a voice just like everybody else does, and I'm live with a podcast right now, and it's called The People's Opinion. And honestly, she's part of the people, and I want to hear what she has to say. I said that right there on live, and the lady's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, we think that too." Like, then why would you say that we're not trying to engage with her? You
Well,
know?
and that's now see that okay, so that's what makes me that guy in this community, because I'm the one who is willing to engage when
Yeah,
others are not.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing, and I I gave her. You know, you could tell that she had a lot of ideas in her head. I mean, a lot of ideas in her head, but she just had that look in her eye, and Beth saw it from 20 feet away. She's like, she goes, I was ready to jump in there if that girl was going to start attacking you. And I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I saw the crazy in her eye, but I didn't think that I had no intention that she was going to attack me. She was like, I don't know. I've seen people crazy look in their eyes, and I'm just a little protective. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But no, she was all over the place. So you could tell that there was a lot of indoctrination from the church. There's a lot of MAGA. There was some Q influence in there as well, because I was trying to find a pattern in what she was saying, but it was just, from one sentence, half a sentence, to a different idea, to a half a dozen another, and it's just insane
Yeah.
how. But she. I think I gave her some time. I asked her name. I shook her hand. I listened to her is the main thing. And I
Yeah.
think she wanted someone to listen to her. And
Yeah.
even if it was just for a few minutes, maybe that was enough. But it really sounded as though she just, she may have had good intention. And I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt because I don't know her. I don't know who she is. I just saw her causing some problems, in an area where no one else was causing problems. No one else there wasn't an issue with anybody else, and so, but I was trying to track her down. I did, and I gave her the time, but you know, she was just very incoherent. And the people who saw the live show, they can attest that they were listening too. And I was seeing some of the comments and Pilled, and they're like, "Wow, she's all over the place, man." And Salty called me after the show had ended, and he's like, "Good for you for trying to give that girl a voice, but she was just all over the place." I'm like, "God,
Yeah, I gotta.
you know.
I'm gonna grab a binder real quick. I got
Yeah,
something
go
in there I
for it.
want to
Go for it.
read you.
I'm gonna roll through chat here. What's going on, Tweak? How you doing? What's going on, Rilla's mom? What you doing? We were just Jerry and I went to the No King rally today in our area. He was in St. Louis at a much larger event, and I was in Columbia, Missouri. And I went live earlier today at the venue, walked around, talked to some people, and we were just kind of going over our experience with from what we had, from what we saw today in our respective areas. And so what we saw was we saw a lot of peaceful people. We saw a surprising amount of anti-pedophile rhetoric, and I mean, I was like, wow, there's quite a bit here. Uh, there was, I saw a couple signs, FDT. I saw a couple of those, like fuck Donald Trump, but it wasn't spelled out. There, they used the word faux, of an FAUX.
Yeah,
A lot of cleverness, okay,
yeah,
a lot of clever play, um, and good quality signs and stuff like that. There's one guy, he had a faux news for Fox News. It was faux and then a news underneath it, and it had propaganda underneath that. And I was like, dude, that's that's probably the most accurate sign I've seen so far today. And he was just standing there with it, and it was a big sign too. It was a pretty big. I don't know if he bought it or if he made it, because somebody had put some quality work into this because it had back braces for the sign,
yeah,
and it had it was I think it was a click, like it with the recessed button where you push it in, then you slide
yeah,
the pole in there and it clicks in the hole, almost like an umbrella, like a
yeah.
yard umbrella. I'm not describing this very good.
A detent button like on a crutch or a cane.
Thank you. That's exactly what I saw.
We
Wait, they
we
didn't
saw a lot
use
of those.
Fox El Trumpo. I saw some baby. I saw a couple mustachios on Trump and a little sombrero hat. I did see a couple little baby. You've seen the baby Trump blow up, or they had it a huge like a Macy's Day Parade where it had Trump in a diaper, and he's short. He looks like a potato, and he's got these little arms and legs, and he's in a diaper and whatever. I saw a couple of those, but I didn't see anything that was. Somebody had a. This was clever. Somebody had a pitchfork with orange cuties on each of the prongs.
Oh wow.
I made a comment. I was like, "Where's the tar and feathers? Where? I mean, let's do this the old school way, kick them
There,
out of town."
Yeah, F bombs everywhere.
yeah, there,
People were not holding back this.
yeah, there were quite a few people that were not holding back with their spelling here in St. Louis.
Oh, I'm
There were a
sure.
lot of people that did, but a lot that didn't. One guy, I had to stop and get a picture of him. He was wearing one of those thin foam, uh, it, like the material the pickle costumes are made out of.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Except this was a taco costume,
Nice.
right? So he's walking around wearing that and carrying a sign that says "Impeach the pedo."
Well, he does. There. What a taco that Trump always chickens out. Is that what it
Yep.
is? Yeah, that's what the phrase is. And I didn't get it at first, and then I realized, oh yeah, yeah. If you listen to his rhetoric versus his actions, he always talks big at first, and then slowly backs away from his comments. So
There was one person there that she was wearing a handmaiden's tail costume,
I didn't see him, but apparently there was three ladies who were there as well.
and she had a sign that says remember when the handmaid's tale was fiction. Under his eye, we all die."
Hmm. So yeah,
Veterans for Peace was there.
yep.
Um, there was one dude walking around on stilts with rainbow pants on,
Okay. All right.
rainbow flag pants. Yeah, big orange shirt, big red hat, and just out there just strutting around, having a good old time,
Hey,
hanging out with
you
people.
know what? Bless him
There
for being
was
able to do that.
there was while people were out doing the march back at the plaza, there was some people that just came in, and like this one gal, she's like, "I was just gonna sing today, but I decided to bring my guitar with me too." and she was
Excellent.
singing like some like Joan Baez and some of the old protest songs, and just like being chill,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Did they say anything about BB running Trumpo? No, I don't. I heard people talk about the foreign policy. I even asked the guy about foreign policy, but there wasn't a whole lot of. Maybe there was, but I just didn't hear it. Maybe there was a conversation for that, but I didn't see. You know, hold on. Did I see? I think I saw one sign where it was talking about BB is Trump's daddy or something like that. Just one sign though. It wasn't. Most of them were no kings. Most of them were the pedophile, the Epstein file stuff, the no war. Those seem to be the three main themes at our fascist. I guess there's a lot of fascist stuff there. So I guess the few themes there was pretty consistent throughout most
Yeah,
people. And I'm sure I'm hoping they were taking the conversation onto a further place where they understand that Trump is run by is that Benjamin Milikowski is Trump's handler.
right.
So
There are plenty that know, but not enough.
the crowds the energy of the crowd that I saw and the amount of signs that were saying no for pedophilia and against that kind of stuff. Uh, who would have Q talks about a unifying factor saving the children, right?
Yeah.
Here's one thing that I've mentioned. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you not, but maybe we have. We've heard all of us have heard the stories of, 100,000 children are found, 65,000 children are found, blah 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 blah. Great, wonderful, super. Where are the parents thanking the administration?
Right.
Where are the photos? Where are the news? Where are the news briefings? Where are the Facebook posts or the X posts or True
Where's the
Social?
proof?
Where
I need proof.
give me something else other than a headline coming
Right.
from Fox News or some other news organization. Okay, because I can guarantee you, if we're not seeing the end result of that, I've even called that out on Pilled. On somebody was came in the chat and said so and so it's saved we've been saving hundreds of children. Great, fantastic. We're getting the pedophiles, sure. Where are the parents to those children saying thank you so and so for saving my child?
Right.
Don't see it.
Um, I grabbed my notebook because there was something I wanted to read, and yeah, you're right. It just
Mm-hmm.
say it. Where's the proof? Going back to that woman that you were talking to, and her lack of coherency,
Yes.
and you were seeing the thematic thread in her speech,
Uh-huh.
right? So from having listened to other individuals who have experience with recovery on both sides of that coin, I learned about something that's in the DSM-5. It's called unspecified dissociative disorder. All right, so quote, this category applies to presentations in which symptoms characteristic of a dissociative disorder that may cause clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning, predominant but not met, but do not meet the full criteria of any of the disorders in the dissociative diagnostic class. The unspecified dissociative disorder category is used in situations in which the clinician chooses not to specify the reason that the criteria is not for a specific dissociative disorder and includes presentations for which there is insufficient information to make a more specific diagnosis. There's that dissociation, but
And
it doesn't have one specific root, and that's the biggest problem
yeah.
with the MAGA mindset, because there is no singular thread to this, to what people have heard and believe.
And that's
there's
and that's
there's
what it
no
sounded
there
like for me.
Yeah, and it's so, yeah, that's what, when you're like, she's on this halfway through the sentence, she's jumping over to something else. her brain is not firing right.
Right.
She's dissociated, and this diagnosis is quite often given to what can be loosely referred to as cult brain.
Cult brain.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that was an actual
anybody
term.
anybody who's leaving a cult and does not have the abilities to cope with the real world on a real level, like they can't do a checkbook, or they can't interact with humans, or they can't take care of themselves because they can't interact with humans to get the services they need. Because of their cult experience, they're dissociated from the real world, and that's all
Uh,
they know. So then they need to go through therapy and training to learn how to assimilate. And a lot of people don't get that, so they wind up alcoholics or
yeah,
addicts or dead or
she was
in
accused of being
trafficking.
on
Or
drugs. She was accused of being on meth. Someone
she
called her a meth head.
the presentation is similar, but there's a genuine psychiatric issue here,
No,
or
yeah,
the potential of a
yeah.
genuine
Well,
psychiatric issue with
my,
her.
my my wife, she's in the mental health profession. She's got master's degrees for this stuff. So, she from a distance, just hearing the conversation, she was like that. She needs to see some professional help.
Yeah,
She's like, if she came to my office, she goes, I would, I'd have, we may even try to have her stay in the facilities, maybe a
yeah,
volunteer, maybe even a volunteer stay for 72 hours.
yeah,
Honestly, she, I think she had good intentions, you know, and I could feel her anxiety, her anxiousness. I mean, she was very high strung, but she was the only, pro, administration person there.
right,
So it's like one against, hundreds. I can see that in her eyes, but also I could feel the energy, her anxious, her anxiety that she was having too. And because I think she honestly really did want to help, but she just didn't. She's just been brainwashed and and given answers, not given, not told her, no one's told her how to think. They've just told
right,
her what to think,
right.
and so she's just trying to regurgitate and push out her message, but it was just very very convoluted, very all over the
That
place.
that's actually a pretty good observation. She's been turned into a bot,
Yes, yeah, the
and
human
that's
bots are real. The yeah,
yeah, and that's one of the things that makes it difficult for people who don't have an insight on what's going on.
or well, I
To
guess NPC is another word that we could
Yeah,
use too. Yeah, like
yeah,
I met a real
but
life NPC today.
yeah, there's folks on the left that can recognize the NPC status, but they don't understand the bot status of the NPC.
Right.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep. It's a
and
there is a. I'm not a mental professional. Okay, I'm not. I don't have degrees in this stuff, people. I've taken 3 psychology classes my entire life, and I'm better than most at observing people and understanding body behavior, and stuff like that. She you could tell when it was I was watching her. I was looking her right in the eyes. She spent most of the time eye contact with me. So there's I could tell that she was genuine in what she wanted to say. But then I ended up asking her, I'm like, well, where's everybody else? Where are your friends at? And that just stopped her right in her tracks. And I'm like, oh shit! Did I just piss her off? Did I say something? Did I inadvertently do something to her that's gonna trigger her and do something where she does something crazy? Because I mean, she had that look in her eye, right? And so calling her out on it, making her stop and think about it. I opened up a can of worms. I apologized. I said, I don't mean to put you on the spot like this, but I'm just curious. Like there's these people here, and they're all unified on a certain message here. I said, surely there's got to be people in town who still support the administration. And then she went on a different little tangent, and I'm like, okay, well, thank you for your time, appreciate it. But I don't know, man. The when we say that MAGA is a cult, and if you've ever been in a cult or in and an organization that operates like a cult, um, through religion, military, police, anywhere where there's strict rules and independent thinking is not encouraged.
Right.
And there's this official narrative you have to follow. You start to you can it's there's reasons why there are standards of definitions for mental illnesses in books because it's been studied thousands of times over and over and over again. Now, when people say that Trump is a malignant narcissist, that has been studied for 40 plus years in
Yeah.
various amounts of people. So probably longer than that, probably 50 years now it's been studied.
Well,
Uh,
he's a malignant narcissist, but he's a probably an upper lesser or lesser middle narcissist. He may not be self aware. He's just that a lot of spoiled brats could often be referred to as
well,
having narcissistic behaviors.
sure, yeah, having that
But you would
behavior,
think
absolutely.
that somebody would grow out of that.
Well, yeah, because you would think that a certain level of narcissism is like more of a maturity thing. Like a rich kid always has a silver spoon in his mouth. Then eventually, he grows out of being a spoiled little brat and he becomes an adult. That's but he also obtains a certain level of narcissism
Right.
his entire adult life. Now,
Well, look at his dad.
well, and then
Look,
look
look at
at his
Donnie's dad.
grandfather as well. You can go back to
Well,
his
yeah,
his it's the
but
teachings, the generational teachings are don't stop unless the one receiving that narcissistic message stops it. Like,
right,
for example, my stepfather, he's been dead for several years now, and he was an extreme narcissist where it was nothing was good enough and it was everything that he was doing was great. And he honestly, his behavior reminds me a lot like Trump's. Now, I spent 25 years under that. And I mean, we're talking physical, emotional, psychological abuse for 25 years. And I had to separate myself cold turkey from that. So I went 10 years without talking to the man until he was on his deathbed, and I told him I forgave him. And then he died 2 days later in his sleep. So that's all I wanted from him was and I told him this. I said, Dave, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to listen. I said, I forgive you for all your transgressions you've placed upon myself over the years. I said, I don't hold any animosity toward you anymore. I want you, honestly, the only thing I want from you is I want you to die peacefully. Because he died of cirrhosis and he was already dying. So, and he knew that he was already dying as well. And so that's what my mom told me. She goes, after you told him that and you hung up, he broke down for an hour. He was just crying like a baby for an hour. I'm like, well, he it just and unfortunately it takes his body shutting down for him to realize that he was a fuckhead for most of his life. You know, and it's just it's a hard thing that you have to realize sometimes. But the reality is that principle of understanding the situation you're in and then removing yourself from that situation is no different than a battered wife, no different than someone who has an addiction. It's the constant behavior of I need to go back to this because this is all I know.
right.
And
Well,
once you have the power that you don't need to go back to that because there is so much more out there, it's liberating. It's absolutely liberating.
exactly, exactly. Now going back to Donnie and his dad. Who were the two preachers that his daddy took him to listen to?
Who? Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. I'm more concerned about his adult mentors than I am as a child. But who was
Well,
it? Who was it?
but look at I look at the roots. The childhood as part of the roots of the upbringing.
Well, I know his
And
father was very abusive mentally toward him,
yes,
and
and he
honestly, it
tried
reminds me a
to
lot when I
raise
was
Johnny
growing
to
up.
be a killer and a king. But whenever he did take him to church on Sunday, it was a Presbyterian church that was pastored by Norman Vincent Peale. And he would occasionally take him to Yankee Stadium to hear Billy Graham speak.
Oh, okay. So he got the big tent revival sort of thing. He had that fire and brimstone message that
Right.
okay,
And I'm okay, or and power of positive thinking, which
yeah,
was supposed to be the power of positive prayer originally.
that's what I remember it as, not thinking. I remember it as prayer, and this is early '90s that I heard this stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't. Again, I haven't been to church in 15 plus years, so
Right.
yeah,
Well,
maybe
the
it's a different
people that
message.
I hang out with at the church that we go to don't know about any of this stuff to speak of.
I there there are a lot of forgive me. I've said this before. I don't mean it in a negative way, but there are a lot of ignorant Christians out there,
Yes.
and it doesn't mean they can't learn. It doesn't mean
Right.
that them knowing what we know or what Jerry knows is going to make them less
Well,
of a Christian. It's
no,
just
but these Christians that I currently hang out with are the kind of Christians that are taking care of your neighbor. You know, if they need
right.
food or clothes or
Mm-hmm.
shoes, or they're loving, kind, and very generous people.
Right.
They're
Not just not by faith, but also by your actions,
yes.
something like that.
Yeah,
And
and
so
they don't understand any of this dominionist theology nonsense. They don't understand the roots. They don't understand the dark history.
right.
They're just glad that there's somebody there that can translate it for them. Which is the most common feedback I'm getting on my work on YouTube. People are appreciating that I'm able to sit down and break this down so that other people outside can have an understanding of what's really being said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It
Yesterday,
gets deep. It gets
yesterday,
deep.
yesterday, for a baseline on to prove that Republican ideology hasn't really changed, it's just become more radical. I did a video on Pat Robertson's 1988 campaign for the Republican primary.
I saw it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Um, Somebody told me about this interview. I started listening to it. Oh my goodness. I think it was Michelle Bachman and Hoda Kotb. I think it was Michelle. Yeah, I think it was Michelle Bachman. But she's currently, you know, she left Congress.
Mm-hmm.
She's now the dean of the Robertson School of Politics at one of these we don't take federal money evangelical backed colleges.
It's a little radical.
Yeah, yeah, just a little bit.
A tiny bit. But geez, wow. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Welcome in, Rusty Musket over 1776 over there on Rumble. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Thanks for your time. But yeah. So, um, that's pretty much all I got. I just wanted to talk about your ideas, or not your ideas, but your experiences at the rally, and
But
you know, and
I, I had a couple of different people ask me one of the most common questions I get whenever they find out I left MAGA.
what's that?
There's two of them. One is what made you leave, and I'm like, I don't have time to tell you that story right
It's a
now. It's
long
too
story.
complex. And the other one, which is growing in commonality, is how can I help get a family member out?
Yeah. I was that family member who was the MAGA extremist, and if I found my way out of that paper sack, I think most people, other people, can do too. But
Yeah.
it takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of self fortitude. It takes a lot of discipline to break yourself from that. And
Uh,
the people who I've encouraged to, because me, I took 2 weeks. I took 2 months. Sorry, 2 months to detox from all the news. No news at all. Zero news. I've encouraged people to do that, and those that have done that and um, who've come back, message me privately. They've said it's that they see things differently. Their lives are better. They don't worry about it or get triggered as much anymore. And I'm like, you don't need to. Once you realize that the propaganda is coming from both sides, and the propaganda is stemming from one source.
right.
You go to the source of the propaganda and you start exposing that, and then hopefully it trickles down to where the other people can start. At least the clouds open a little bit so they can see the sky, and they go, "Holy shit, the sky's blue! Did you guys notice that? Holy crap!"
I've found myself settling into a pretty comfortable rhythm. I'll peek at the news just to kind of keep an eye on things, see what's going on. I don't grind on the news like I used to, but Monday I take the weekends off. Friday or Saturday and Sunday. Those are me days, our days. Those are us days,
Yeah.
right? Monday through Friday though, I make one profile video, either a profile of a preacher, a politician, or an ideology, and then I'm making one of those training videos. Doing breaking down one of those Project 2025 training videos.
Oh
So since
gosh.
I'm three in to a series of 24.
Yeah,
So
I got halfway through the first video.
doing one of those a day, just because it's so mentally taxing to work through 45 minutes to an hour of that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
it really
It's
is.
really mentally taxing breaking it down. I've got 21 videos left to make. That's going to take me a month to work through all of that.
And
But
and hopefully
but
your brains
by
don't.
only doing two videos a day, it gives me the opportunity to go, okay, I've done this. If I see something else that I might want to respond to later, I can do that. I'll give myself the grace to make a third video. But then I switch over to domestic mode and I start taking care of real life stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Well,
I
you
get
have
those
to.
two.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've gotta compartmentalize the like for me. I'll watch maybe I'll watch a few clips or whatever, a couple hours of stuff before. Like I'll in the morning after Beth leaves, I'm making breakfast. I'm kind of just starting my day, and sometimes it'll be from something from last night that I missed. But then
yeah,
I'll look and I'll see what the major headlines are, and I'll peruse the different sites that I go to, and then I'll watch maybe a couple more videos, and then I'm like, okay, these guys are now repeating what everybody else is saying now, and so it's like,
right,
okay, the message is out there. This is what the narrative is being pushed. This is the official. This is what the news is right now, and I'll wait. I'll turn it off and I'll go watch Bob's Burgers. I'll put Bob's Burgers on for a couple hours just for background noise or whatever, and
Oh,
then I'll be
I'll
doing
end
something in the house or taking the dogs to the park or completely just shutting it off, going, okay, nothing's going on that I can't worry about here in a couple hours when I check on it again.
right. What I'll end up doing, because I just the tinnitus and the hyperactive brain, I gotta have something on in the background. So
Yeah.
once I reach my limit with uh, new updates from the news cycle, then what I'll
Yep.
do is I'll switch over and I'll listen to one of my favorite content creators do an archaeology update. The new archaeology
Oh yeah.
discoveries from
Switch gears
last month,
completely. Yeah, completely
or
just
the
change what you're
new
listening to.
yeah,
Yeah.
and or I may find was it Professor Dave Explains, or one of those other science-based debunk channels,
Yep.
legitimate science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of those debunks are just so ridiculous. I can't even listen to what they're trying to break down because it's just so bizarre. I mean, we're talking more bizarre than flat earth stuff, right? Every now and again, I'm like, that's just too much crazy. I got to go somewhere else. But I do enjoy a good solid debunk, especially if it's something new, like that Professor Zhang with his
Yep. Yeah. He's been doing a lot of stuff.
predictive. Yeah, well, he's been getting debunked lately. In fact, um, there's been some questions asked about him. He's running his YouTube channel out of China.
I was wondering if he was.
Yeah, so
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah, and then put all that into that context we know of Chinese censorship and
well, the thing too is
mm,
that the I've known people who used to work in China, and they've come back to the United States now, and we're talking they've been in China for a couple of years, worked various things. Um, I know one was doing art, another one was journalism, and I think someone was doing like shipping business or something like that. Something like that. Big, if you're going internationally to go do this stuff, obviously you're pretty fucking good at your job. So, or whatever it is you're doing. But what they
right,
were saying is that these people, um, that in China, it's the perception that the West has on China is not accurate.
Right.
The Chinese people can talk about pretty much whatever they want to talk about, except for a few things. The
Right.
government, they can't speak evil of their government, and there's a couple other things they can't talk about. But beyond that, everything else is pretty much is. I mean, if you want to hear some pretty accurate accounting of the Epstein files, go listen to some Chinese English Chinese news stations or podcasters.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not they're brutal. So
Well,
again,
they don't have any love lost.
no,
So
no, not at all. But I mean, it is China, and they do
right.
have the
Well,
CCP, and it is a thing where
and they are
you
buddies.
don't
They
have
are
full
buddies
freedom.
with Russia and Russia Today, and RT has repeatedly run Melania's nudes on their public networks. Prime
Oh
time.
wow, really? I didn't know
Oh yeah, it's like they did it several times.
that.
It's like,
Yeah,
come on,
they
you
do.
can't
That's
tell
part of
me
their
Putin
propaganda
ain't.
candy. Yeah, the demoralization of Americans is part of their propaganda as well. And again, I'm
Yes.
not saying that China is the best place to be. Absolutely not. I still love this country,
No.
even if it, but Jewish, obviously, Chinese people have been abused by the West, specifically the British. They made billions off the opium trade as well as the Sassoons, Jewish tribe. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about the Jewish influence in China, especially right before the Communist Revolution. So Mao's revolution, to be more exact, um,
Yeah.
where upwards to 180 million people died. That's a genocide right there. And
Yeah.
it wasn't sick people. It wasn't massive protesters. It wasn't military individuals. It was academia. It was all the academics that were people who were peacefully protesting. The monks, the students, the teachers, the philosophers, the artists, the musicians. All of those people were taken away to work camps, killed in the work camps, or just plainly shot right there on the street corner.
Creative minds are dangerous to authoritarian structures.
Yeah, yeah. And the protocols on El Zion, it says the most dangerous thing apparently to the Jews is a goyim with initiative. So
Guess who? Hang on.
yeah,
I'm
go
glad
ahead.
you brought that. I'm glad you brought that book up. Guess who brought it to the United States from Germany?
I knew who was a
I mentioned him earlier.
um
Gerald Winrod,
yes, I knew it was it
the
started
the
with a G. I
not
thought it was
the
George, but
no Gerald Winrod, Jayhawk Nazi, the
where did
the
he get
the
it?
tent revival scheduler for William Branham.
It's funny how the Nazis are multitasked. They are talented individuals, don't you think? They can go from starting from a to a war Reich and trying to create a purification of the human race to being the head and starting propaganda and starting all these wonderful programs and reviving reviving things to brainwash massive amounts of people in America.
I have a link I'm going to send you.
Okay,
I'm gonna text you a link. It's a piece that Doug Scott Kramer did. I think you'll find it rather interesting.
cool. Yeah,
It,
sounds good.
it's the link between L. Ron Hubbard and the head of video propaganda for the Third Reich.
Yeah, the you mean
Like they actually met.
well that and Joseph not Joseph Scorbles, but uh because he was early American history. Um, fuck, I just had his name because I'm reading his book. I can't remember. I'm reading Joseph Scovel's book, but I'm reading um, the German propagandist for
Goebbels.
Goebbels. Is that Goebbels?
I think that was Goebbels.
Okay. I'm missing. There's another
Goebbels
propagandist
or
too
Himmler.
that was in America who started the 4 out of 5 doctors recommend this toothpaste with fluoride.
Edward Bernays.
Edward Bernays, thank you. That was the other one. Sometimes I draw a blank on
There's
names.
there's a great 4 parts documentary series called "The Century of Self." It's all about Edward Bernays and consumer marketing and how it evolved into CIA operations and consumer marketing in the 50s, all the way right down into why we see political campaigns run the way we do today.
If you have a link for that, please drop that for people in the chat. Because
Let me pull up.
I'm getting ready to I know what you're talking about. I'm getting ready to watch that, but I want to read his book first before I watch that, and I have to finish that. So I'll be doing the part 2 for propaganda here soon. Emerald was not a propagandist. Well, it was a war propagandist.
He also did some work with Young. Okay, so the link that I'm going to drop is actually to the 4-hour supercut. Okay, it's a Century of Self all in one go.
That works. That works for me. So okay, so it's a YouTube link. Sweet.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and copy that myself, so I have it for my own personal.
But yes, that's the Century of Self, the full Adam Curtis documentary, and it's excellent work. I became aware of it because of interacting with Doug Scott Kramer. Man, I miss that guy. We were supposed to start working together, but then he went up, went and died on
theory
me.
about human.
Yeah, how dare he?
Right?
How dare he?
I could see if I'd gotten to work with him, that would have meant that he would have gotten to hug his mom and his sister for the first time in 12 years.
Really? So, wow, that's
yeah, Scientology.
Oh yeah. That's all. Enough said. Yeah,
if I'd gotten to work with him, he would have already hugged his mom and his sister for the first time in 12 years. That's why I'm disappointed that I didn't get to work with him.
Yeah, I can see.
But he wanted to work with me because he saw where I was like 3 years ago before he died, where I was running down the CIA connections to all these different cults. Cool. And he wanted to work with me on that because of his work on the Scientology stuff. I learned all my dark history knowledge about Scientology from Doug Scott Kramer. I'll send you a link to his channel.
Yeah, please.
Well, I'm going to send you the link to that one video anyway. You can just jump into his channel from there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chops. Ivy Lee is also a big name in that movement. Yeah.
Yep. I'm not sure who that is, but please send me a link on that. I'd like to know. I guess I'm doing this propaganda. I'm going through it slowly, guys, and because we need to understand where the history of propaganda, where it came from. It just didn't start, what we're told in the mid 1600s from the Catholic Church. Propaganda has been going back way, way further than that. The covers of ancient wars, they are probably most likely propagandists as well. The major history events, the way they swayed, probably didn't go the way they actually did. And so, again, that's propaganda because you have to convince a group of people one way. One of the biggest ones that I can remember in history is the Battle of Waterloo, when the banks were told that Napoleon had lost, but everyone else was told that the public was told that he had won.
Yeah,
and so they hedged much like they're doing now. They hedged wagers and made lots and lots and lots of money by crashing the currency.
Mm-hmm.
But it's history repeats itself, guys.
Yeah, propaganda as we can see it today has its roots all the way back to the earliest of printed material. Even scribe printed material.
Yeah.
The word tract, which we know from like the Chick tracts, those little gospel tracts. The original form of the tract was a small piece of paper with writing on it that was propaganda, generally political propaganda. That's the original intent of that word.
The from what I understand, the Catholics in 1677 there was a campaign to propagate the base word of propaganda to I guess, and that time that the church was also going through a bad phase, a bad name, and they were trying to
Right.
push that, and then they were starting to go out in the world and do a lot of their ministry and converting and basically rape, pillage, and slaughter of innocent people around the world. And they call it to propagate, to push a certain message.
Yeah.
But anyways, so all right, good sir. So you had a good experience. Amy had a good experience as well. That's fantastic.
And it
Um,
sounds like you had fun as well.
I did. I had a really good time. And I'm going to be doing. There's a local group that protests regularly on Saturdays. I think what I'm going to do is when they're protesting, I'm going to go and talk to them as well because I think they go down. I'm not sure if they. I know they like to go at one of the major intersections in town, but I don't know if they like to go downtown either. So I'll have to track them down. It should be pretty easy to do,
Yeah.
and I'll end up talking to them more often. And and honestly, if I can get people from if I can find anybody who still supports the administration, I'd like to sit down and talk with them too. I wanna start a series called Offline, and where it's a like what you and I did when we were talking for an hour and a half
Yeah.
or whatever it is, but no audience,
Right.
just you and I having a conversation, or me and someone else having a conversation. I'd like to start a show like that because I think some people get a little nervous when it comes to the chat,
Yeah.
and I get it. I understand. It's understandable, and because there's people on Pilled specifically who are not in the MAGA or Q movement
Right.
that know they made it clear they have knowledge in a lot of different areas, and I think it would be a dereliction of a journalistic duty of my duty to not try and reach out to those people and make it a very an easy environment for them to have a conversation where there's no chat. It's just us two, and then videos uploaded. Bing bong boom done.
That sounds like the direction that I'm trying to move into locally. Just going out and meeting people, and then maybe getting to a point where we can sit down and they can tell their story.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. That's the important part. Is sometimes people just want to be heard.
like the couple of ladies that we met today, and that one was standing there with her protest sign, was her three kids holding up protest signs in front of Trump Tower. It's like, our family's been doing this all this time and nothing has changed. And it's like, yeah, I want to hear her story.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I want to know what motivates her. What does she
Yeah.
see? Is there something that I can learn?
Right.
That's how I approach. That's how I approach conversations with strangers. Is there's is there something that I can learn? Because when you were still, I've watched some of your stuff when you were playing some of your older videos, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I know that Jerry. I know because I was there. I was there, and just because, and I want to make one thing perfect clear here, people, and you'll hear this from the sycophants, and you hear this from the heavy cult members, okay, from the deacons and the cult of Trump. You'll hear that, oh, you're not a Republican anymore. What are you, a fucking Democrat? Duh, you like sucking dick now, you know. Excuse me, that kind of bullshit doesn't mean that at all. But what they
No.
what they fail to understand is that my personal, I'm just speaking for myself, is that when I say I walked away from, and you guys want to know what Jerry's talking about, go watch his channel. Please drop your link to your channel
I can
in
do
the
that.
chat, please, and that way I can share it around. He's got almost 60 videos, and some of them are an hour, a little over an hour. Some of them are just a few minutes. So go through there, and he's got a plethora of stuff to share. Um, but yeah, it's argument with a Q brain on BitChute. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry
I
about that.
had I had somebody hit me up. What? Leave MAGA and become a socialist communist Democrat? And I'm like,
Yeah, it's like
no, man. Why do I have to go there when I have this other area called unspecified voter where I can make up my own mind?
right. Why? That's part. You understand this too. That's part of the brainwashing. Is that the
Right.
idea to better understand or to dehumanize, because when people come at you with a litany of words, that don't really belong together, but have been placed
Right.
together, right, because of propaganda. And you have so it's like, listen, dude, just have a conversation with someone. That's it's not. There's nothing wrong with it. Just because I left MAGA and I left Q, and it doesn't mean that I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go start dyeing my beard rainbow colors and
Right.
start doing that lifestyle and voting blue no matter who. It
Right.
doesn't mean that at all. It means that I've
No.
recognized things on both spectrums, the entire spectrum I've seen, and I'm not liking anything that I see, so I'm deciding to step away from it. And that's a choice. But what people don't understand is like, well, if you don't vote, then what's going to happen? Well, shit, maybe some stuff may not get done at a federal level.
Right.
Wow. Okay, maybe that would send a huge message that the choices that DC is giving us, that our nation is that we're given each election cycle, maybe those aren't the choices that we want anymore. Maybe those choices don't benefit the American people. When in time, after for at least my entire life, every single time, it doesn't matter if it's DNR, doesn't matter. The people have suffered. Big businesses and corporations and globalism's always prospered,
Yep.
no matter what the message is, and especially if you guys remember that we have now, at least if you're for my age, you're now in a. I'm sorry, we've had. I take this back. I've had 4 presidents: Reagan, Bush, Obama, and now Trump, who have had two presidencies, two administrations, 2 sessions, 2 4-year sessions, and every single time, the first time it's all about the people, rah rah rah. The second time around, it's all about big business, big corporation, getting those people who got you elected and put you, did favors for you. Now you're paying those people back, and it never benefits the people. And it's exactly what we're seeing here. We got lied to about no wars. Salty and I on Wednesdays we do a show called the Department of FIA fell for it again, in contrast to the Department of FAFO. It's on Pilled, and we've done 3 episodes so far, and it works. It's pretty easy. I mean, the material writes itself. The
Yeah.
internet is forever, and this time around, I'm seeing a lot more people just walk away from not being able to support the current administration for various reasons, not because of one thing, but it's a compound of multiple things that are adding up that were promised, were heavily promised for not just the campaign cycle, but after 2020 election, and people started gathering themselves again and realizing that, okay, Biden's president, we got to go fight him now, he's the bad guy. Those Democrats, those Democrats are so bad. It's like, man, thinking that the Democrats are the bad guys is like watching a fucking Scooby Doo show.
Right.
Who the bad guy. There's always a bad guy, right? There's always a Mr. Jenkins or something who's trying to get those pesky kids.
Right.
And that's kind of how I see it. Is that there always has to be a bad guy. Well, why? Does anybody ask why there always has to be a boogeyman? You start asking those questions,
To
and
provide a control mechanism.
right, right. If they can control you with fear and manipulation through your pocketbook or how you vote or what you watch and how you consume information, it's easy to control you.
Well, okay, okay, okay. On that note, how about Jim Baker?
What about him?
Oh, he was begging for money so he didn't go bankrupt.
Well, isn't that every televangelist?
Oh, but he just straight up says it. I I had
I
somebody
mean,
I
Paul
had
White does the
somebody
same thing. She's like, I'm not going anywhere until I get my $10,000. It's like,
right.
good lord, lady.
I had somebody respond to a Jim Baker video I did, and it included some of his slop buckets in it. I mean, food
Oh,
buckets. And they're like, "Oh, did you see this other commercial?" And I'm like, and it wasn't even the commercial for it, right? Well, I already had one of these really horrible Jim Baker food bucket commercial in the shoot, right? It's just sitting over there. I showed it to Amy, and she's just like couldn't believe it. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to find all of the horrible Jim Baker commercials that I can find, and I'm gonna put them together in a compilation.
Awesome. 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 Rusty Musket over on Rumble goes, I attended a revival service at our church, and they asked me to be an usher because they were short volunteers. As the plate was passed, a woman said she saw me dip in the plate as it was passed. I told her that I didn't, and that that Lord and Savior was witness to that, and He also saw her accusation, and she should repent. She nearly passed out or died in the spirit. Oh, wow. She made
Oh
her
wow.
comment cute and made sure she instantly regretted it. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty easy to do, when you have someone who's self-righteous and they they
Oh
try to do
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
chops on that Copeland thing. How about that
Yeah.
latest Hank Kuhneman? I need money for charter planes.
Yeah, I heard that. Well, okay, while we're talking about preachers, what about the spiritual advisor for Pete Hegseth?
Right.
How
And
radicalized
then
he's talking. What is this shit he's talking about?
and then there's this other guy. Good grief, I can't remember his name, but over there at Flashpoint, there was a group of those guys that were having a conversation about private planes or private flights are the only reason that they're able to make their destinations because TSA has everything jammed up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this buddy of mine down in Texas swung by in his private jet and picked me up and flew me up here. That's the only way I was able to make it. I'm
Must
like, oh my
be
god,
nice.
yeah, bragging on their elitism. It's
Right.
disgusting,
Right.
sickening.
It is. It is. And for whatever reason, people just instantly they lap it up because oh, this person is closer to God because look how successful they are. They must be
Right,
really good at. No, they're just good at grifting off you guys. They're just good at stealing
right.
your money. That's all. That's all it really comes down to. They're good at putting on a show.
Yes,
And
they are.
that's how I see Greg Locke. That's how I see Kenneth Copeland, Hagee, Billy Graham, his son. That's how I see all of these mass like Promise Keepers was another one when when I mentioned that before in our conversations in the past. That
Hmm.
was just a massive uh, money scheme to just to scrape some more money off of Christians. It wasn't because it wasn't like I lived in Iowa when Promise Keepers happened, and so it was up in Minneapolis, and people it would draw. I mean, we'd fill the stadium. The stadium would be full of men, so it draws tens of thousands of people to this event. We're talking hotels, food, merchandise, ticket sales, concessions, all that stuff. I mean, a huge amount of money is just run through the Christian church. I think almost to a level of borderline extortion. I think I almost feel like now when I was in church. This is 15 years ago again. When I was in church, I felt as though when they were passing the plate around, it was extortion. It was like I
Yeah,
want to guilt you into giving us more money. It's like, man, I'm already paying Rome what they want or what they
well, that,
require, and now
that's
and
what
now I
that's
gotta
one
I
of
gotta go
that's one
pay extra.
that's one of the things I like about Gethsemane. They don't require a tithe. And if you do want to tithe, like say you want to make a recurring contribution,
Mm-hmm.
they can do it for you on a sliding scale. They don't require 10%.
There you go. There you go. That makes sense. That makes sense. Like if you want to can only give $5 this month or this week, okay, that's fine. If you can't give anything, that's fine. You're here. Your time is here. You're with us
Right.
today. And that's kind of how I look at. I keep getting pushed to drop a cash app and stuff like that, and I'm like, I get it, and I think I'm going to in the future, but I just don't know when. But it's not
Right.
I'm looking for please pay my mortgage. I'm not going around saying I need 20,000 gold pills a day. I'm not going around saying that. I'm not going around saying I need you to put food on my dinner table to feed my children. I ain't doing that shit. You know. You disabled. What did I disable? What? I
Now
just.
that now that now that was I think that was on my side.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like, yeah. So I'm not going around doing that, but
It
but
picked up on a cough.
oh, okay. It was like but if people want to donate, uh, I'm okay with that. I'm okay if people want to donate a couple bucks, when they have it. Not every stream I'm on there going, oh man, I really, I gotta have the money, guys. Come on, keep,
Right.
give me money, give me donations. I'm like, I just, I can't, I can't grift like that. I never was raised that way to beg.
I don't
You
even
know,
plan on putting out merch.
I'm not
I'm
going
doing
to.
I'm
I'll,
doing
I'll
I'm
drop a
doing my
Cash App link,
work.
but I'm not going to put merch out. No.
I, I don't even want to put out my Cash App link because I mean, if I work myself into a position where somebody wants to hire me for my skills, great. And but financially, I'm comfortable,
That's where I'm at too.
and
I'm not gonna let
I,
money be
I,
the root of all evil for me.
I see my work as part of doing my amends for decisions I've made in the past.
Yeah, yeah. In a way, I look at it as I don't have a paywall. I don't require people to I need so many gold pills or I need so many donations a day to keep this. I'm not a Paula White sort of person. Okay,
Right.
I'm not at that. That's grifting off of people is what that is, and I don't do that. I'm not shilling off of people.
Occult
I want to put it out there because I've had people in the past ask how they can donate to me, and and I honestly I don't want donations through pill.net. If people still want to do that, if they want to give in the kindness of their heart, I want to provide them a different avenue to do so,
right.
and that's what it is. So,
Right. Well,
but
and from what I've noticed, Patreon is apparently a decent option you can go with because you can still present your information for free, but you can also set up like small donations. And a lot of those people that have the Patreon, they'll just do little extras like special emojis for a certain membership level.
yeah,
Little
I've thought
little
about
little
doing
things like that.
yeah, I've thought about doing
But
stuff like that.
most of the people that I know of that I enjoy working with understand that occult information is just hidden information,
That's what a cult means.
and I don't I don't pay I
Occult.
don't pay for hidden information. Either you can tell me your side of the story, or we don't have a conversation. I'm not giving you money to hear.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. I'm like, when I see that and when people they have a paywall or something like that, I'm going, all right, well, you're showing a documentary, or what are you doing? Like, what special thing are you doing where people are not able to find this information, or it's not easily
right,
sourced?
right,
It's like if I can find it on the internet, and I've been called all kinds of being stupid names have told me to shut the f up and go sit down and stuff. I'm a moron, I'm a retard. If this retard can figure out where the information is online, then why it's free source information? Why am I charging for it?
right.
That's that to me that's the epitome of a grift, you know.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
that's just kind of how I look at it. Again, donations should be donations under the title
Right.
donations, okay,
Agreed.
or a tip if you want to have a tip jar or something like that. We're all
Well,
mad says buy me a coffee is pretty good too apparently.
I need to kind of wind down on my end. So,
Oh yeah,
what
it's
what do-
9
what do
o'clock already.
Chris? I wonder what Hazel Eyes and Kristen have to that they're
Yes, yes.
bringing
Hazel
to
Eye,
the
Kristen, ladies, how you doing? Welcome in. I do apologize. The men were kind of jacking our
table.
jaw there for a minute. So welcome in, ladies. How you doing?
Hi.
Hello, hello. Can you hear us, Hazel Eyes? I don't think you've come here on the Brave before, because you're still muted. Your microphone's muted. You might have to back out and come back in. And if that's the case, then no problem. Because that's usually what happens when people first try to get into the show, they have to back out and come back in. So, but Jerry, is there anything you would like to? Okay, there she goes. Yep, and she'll come right back. Is there anything you'd like to share with us? Any up event? Are you going to get married in the future at all? Are you guys gonna, you're not gonna tie the knot? Okay, no,
No,
okay.
I'm just shaking my head, and she's laughing in the background.
Oh, okay.
Now, we've had that conversation. She's had her one divorce. I've had my 2 divorces.
Oh,
Between the 3 of us, we got 3 strikes. We're done.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I've got one strike under my
We
belt, and I
we
told
we,
I told Beth, I
we
said I'm not doing this again. I'm gonna make this work, or we're not gonna do it at all.
we're crazy happy with our lives, and we don't see how a piece of paper is going to do anything different except potentially complicate something that we've already negotiated.
Okay, that's fair enough.
We've decided that we will stick together as long as we're happy, and if things become discontent and unhappy, we will just go our separate ways. We have that capability. We are not dependent on each other,
Right, right. And
and
that's a good
so
thing to be. That's a good thing to have in a relationship is you want the person to be there, not because you have to have them there.
right.
So, but
It's
awesome.
definitely a mutually constructive relationship.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm loving it. It's the first time I've actually had one.
yeah. This relationship I have with Beth is much more adult. She had her life and all her everything she did before she met me, and I had my life. I one marriage under the belt before her, but this time I it's different. There's a much larger maturity level than there was last time, and I was 30. I was in my 30s when I got married the first time, so it wasn't like I was young.
First
Like
time I
age
got married.
wise.
First time I got married was 4 days after my 20th birthday. The second time I got married, let's see, that was in what 90. So I was 26.
Mid 20s, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that marriage lasted 27 years,
Wow. Wow.
and it crashed ugly.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Nearly cost me my life.
That's even worse when you
That's
spend
that's
that much time
that's
with somebody and then it ends ugly.
that's why I'm an advocate against domestic violence.
Yeah. 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 I will never hit a woman, but I'll shake her out of her makeup. That's for sure. Sorry. Sorry. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. I apologize. But all right, good sir. GI, thank you very much for your time. I'm glad you were safe. Everybody was safe. I haven't heard any instances of people getting
I
hurt at any of these
I haven't
events
heard
yet.
of a single one.
But it's still a little bit early, and I'm hoping they were completely peaceful. And I would love to see a counter protest to this from the people who still support the administration. I would love to see
Well,
that and see what the numbers are.
did you see that pro billionaires protest that happened in California a little while back?
No.
I'll send you a link for that.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah,
So, all right, cool. Thanks for your time, and thanks
you're welcome.
for the information you share with all of us on a regular basis for free on your YouTube channel. People scroll up in the chat there, you'll see his YouTube channel there, and as well in the other chats that are around the interwebs, you'll see his link. So, yeah, Amy, thanks for letting me take him for a couple hours on a Saturday night from you guys, and yeah, Jerry, you have yourself a good night, man.
I hope you do too.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.